Hey everyone, it is me again, your friendly neighborhood investor who has made all the mistakes so you do not have to. Today I want to talk about something really important, something that took me years and a lot of lost money to figure out. It is about how many of us, especially in our 20s, are programmed to stay poor, to stay broke. I am not saying this to scare you, but to open your eyes to something I wish someone had told me years ago. We are talking about breaking that code, escaping that cycle, and truly understanding how money works, or rather, how society makes us think money works. Let me take you back to my younger days. Not too long ago, I was in my early 20s, fresh out of school, and like many of you, I had big dreams. I wanted to make money. Fast. I saw all these headlines about people getting rich quick, about booming markets, and I thought, hey, why not me? My family, bless their hearts, did not have a lot of experience with investing, so I did not have that kind of guidance at home. I thought I could figure it out on my own, which in hindsight was my first big mistake. I jumped into the market with both feet, chasing after what everyone else was talking about. Hot stocks, quick trades, insider tips, or what I thought were insider tips. I was glued to forums and chat groups, listening to anyone who sounded confident. The idea of steady, long-term growth just did not excite me. I wanted that instant gratification, that overnight success. I was driven by a burning desire to prove myself, to escape my modest background, and to hit it big. This led me down a very dangerous path. I was constantly chasing the next big thing, buying high and selling low. A classic beginner's error. Every time a stock I owned went down a little, I panicked and sold, only to watch it rebound later, or I would buy into something that had already gone up a lot, only to see it crash right after I bought it. It was like I had a magnetic pull towards losing money. I did not understand things like diversification, risk management, or even just basic market cycles. I just saw dollar signs and acted on emotion. My decisions were driven by fear of missing out and fear of losing more. It was a chaotic mess, and my bank account definitely showed it. Then came the bigger blunders. I fell for a few scams. Those too, good to be true opportunities that promise sky. High returns with no risk, of course. There is always risk, and usually if it sounds too good, it absolutely is. I remember one particular scheme. It promised me double-digit returns in a matter of weeks. I put in a significant chunk of my savings, money I had worked really hard for. I was so convinced this was my ticket to early retirement. You can probably guess what happened. The website disappeared, the contacts vanished, and my money went with them. It was a gut punch, a brutal lesson in trusting strangers with my finances. Another huge mistake was heavy concentration, putting all my eggs in one basket. I would find a company or an investment that I truly believed in, and then I would go all in, thinking it was a sure thing. I did not spread my risk. I did not consider the possibility that even great companies can face unexpected challenges. When those investments went south, and they often did, it wiped out a huge portion of my portfolio. I remember one time I put almost half of my savings into a single volatile stock. It dropped 30% in a week, and I just watched in horror, unable to do anything. The emotional toll was immense. It was a constant cycle of hope, anxiety, and crushing disappointment. All these experiences, these painful losses, eventually brought me to a breaking point. I had lost a substantial amount of my hard-earned savings. It was not just the money, it was the feeling of being foolish, of being naive, of not understanding something that felt so fundamental to adult life. I realized then that my approach was completely wrong. I was not investing, I was gambling, I was not being smart, I was being reckless. That was my turning point. I decided to stop chasing, stop guessing, stop hoping for luck. I took a step back and decided to truly learn about personal finance and investing. I started reading books, listening to reputable podcasts, and following people who advocated for a sensible, long-term approach. I devoured information about budgeting, saving, understanding different asset classes, and most importantly, risk management. It was like learning a new language, but this time, it was a language that made sense. I moved away from the idea of getting rich quick and embraced the concept of getting rich slow. It sounds boring, I know, but trust me, it is far less stressful and far more effective. I started focusing on consistent savings, on diversifying my investments, and on understanding the underlying value of what I was putting my money into. I learned to control my emotions and to stick to a plan, even when the market was volatile. It was a slow, deliberate process, but it was also incredibly empowering. Now, I am in a different place. I am not a millionaire, and I am certainly not perfect, but I am in control of my finances. I no longer chase trends or listen to dubious advice. I focus on steady growth, on protecting my capital, and on building a secure future. My goal with this channel is to share those hard-won lessons to help you avoid the pitfalls I stumbled into. I want to give you the practical knowledge and the mindset shifts that can help you build your financial foundation right from the start without having to lose a fortune like I did. So, let us dive into the first big concept, something I call the mental programming trap. This is about how society subtly programs us to stay broke. Think about it. When you hear the word rich people, what is the first thought that pops into your head? For me, growing up, it was always negative. My dad, God bless him, had this running joke, money does not grow on trees. Or if I asked for something, he would joke, I want $1 million. It was always this idea that money was scarce, hard to get, and almost a little dirty. When we see wealthy individuals, our immediate reaction is often suspicion. They must be greedy, corrupt, or just plain lucky, right? They probably inherited their money. This is not an accident. This is conditioning. We are taught to believe that money is somehow evil, that wanting it makes us selfish. We are led to think that poor people are more virtuous, that there is some kind of moral high ground in not having money. This is, in my opinion, one of the biggest lies we have been sold. The truth is, money is just a tool. It amplifies who you already are. If you are a good person, money allows you to do more good. If you are a less than good person, it just allows you to do more not so good things. It is a copy and paste system. Money does not change your core character. It just gives you more resources to act on it. Yet society has convinced us that even desiring money makes us bad. This scarcity mindset, this belief that there is not enough to go around, is absolutely killing your financial future. When you operate from a place of fear, you settle for less, you believe you only deserve scraps. But let me tell you, wealth is not luck. It is not magic. It is a learnable skill, a set of principles and practices that are deliberately kept from you. Now, let us talk about Section 2, the education system. This might be a bit of a controversial opinion, but I think for the most part, our modern education system is not designed to create financially independent individuals. It is designed to create obedient workers. Think about it, you sit in rows, you follow bells, you ask permission to use the bathroom. You are taught to follow instructions without question, to just go with the flow. Does that sound familiar? It is literal factory worker training. They never taught us about taxes, how to start a business, how compound interest can make you a ton of money, especially if you start young. They did not teach us how to invest in stocks, how to negotiate salaries, or how the banking system actually functions. Instead, we learn to memorize information we would never use again, sit still for 8 hours a day, and graduate with zero practical financial skills. Then, they convince us to go into massive debt for more of this often useless information, and they profit from our loan payments. It is almost laughable. The system trains you to be an employee, not an entrepreneur. I am not saying everyone has to be an entrepreneur, but understanding how to create value and financial independence is crucial. School specifically teaches you to work for money instead of making money work for you. The moment you graduate, you are thrown into the real world, often financially illiterate and already in debt. This is not an accident. An educated population that understands money is a threat to a system that profits from ignorance. Always keep that in mind. Section 3. Let us call this the consumer culture traps. So, you start earning money, maybe you even get out of debt, but then the consumer culture beautifully kicks in to make sure you never keep that money. You are bombarded with messages telling you that happiness comes from buying things, the new car, the new clothes, you deserve it, right? Just go get the new phone, the new everything. They convince you that your worth is measured by what you own, by material possessions, not by what you have built or the skills you have developed. This is how they trap you. The stupid status game. They make you think expensive items you cannot afford equal success, to impress people you do not even like. I have talked about this before, so I will not dwell too much on it. A huge one is the credit card trap. They give you credit cards, loans, convincing you that debt is normal. Everyone has car payments. They say, I know so many people who think a car payment is just a normal part of life. They have never known life without one. They do not realize how freeing it is to not have that monthly burden. I try to tell them and they are like, no, I need a new car. It has gotten to a point where it is a literal meme. People buying cars they cannot afford, going into what they call generational debt. Are people serious? This all ties into instant gratification. People want it now. They are designed for instant pleasure. The one-click buying system, same-day delivery, and do not even get me started on buy now, pay later schemes. They have rewired your brain to want everything immediately. There is no room for delayed gratification, which is a fundamental principle of wealth building. This leads to the lifestyle inflation trap. When you get a raise, your expenses magically increase to match it. New income means new stuff, not investments. They keep you on that hamster wheel. No matter how much you earn, you have to keep your burn rate low. Which brings us to Section 4, the employment trap system. Society glorifies the steady job security. My parents certainly did. Meanwhile, entrepreneurship is painted as risky and irresponsible. People think a 9-to-5 is secure. But look at how many Fortune 500 companies are laying off thousands of people because of AI and other disruptions. The 40-hour work week often keeps you too tired to build wealth on the side. And even worse, when you work overtime thinking you are getting ahead, those extra 10 hours could be spent building something for yourself, something that pays you more than a very low minimum wage fixed amount. This goes back to the employee mindset. Work hard and someone else will reward you. The owner mindset is create value and reward yourself. Create money in the marketplace for you, money that you keep 100% of, that you control. This is why I am such a fan of sales and building businesses. Also, the benefits and pension systems often create a dependency on employers and government systems, and they cap your salaries. It is just a joke. I wish more people understood this. Finally, Section 5, which sums everything up, is the time poverty program. Society keeps you busy with work, with meaningless activities, so you do not have any time or energy to actually build something, to get ahead. To use an extra 5 to 10 hours to build a side hustle, try freelancing, design websites, whatever it might be, and then when you finally get home from work, the entertainment industry is there to consume your time. Netflix, social media, video games, even sports. It is all designed to keep you confined in this little system. I realized this at a very young age. You have to break free from this. It is the only way. even commuting. If you are not working from home, on average, you are driving an hour or two a day. That is an hour or two of your precious time. Think of how much that adds up weekly, monthly. It is crazy. And then the work-life balance propaganda makes you feel guilty for working on side projects. It is just horrible. So I do not want to make this all doom and gloom. I want to give you the action steps to breaking free. Enough about the problem, step 1. And this again starts with mindset. You need to reprogram your money. Mindset starts seeing money as a tool for freedom, not evil. I know many of you are probably already on this path, which is great. Rich people are not your enemy. Broke people who want to stay broke. Those are the enemy. Surround yourself with people who talk about starting businesses. Getting into sales, building wealth, this is what great communities are for, not complaining about bills or not having enough money to pay for things. Those people are toxic. Read books about money, listen to podcasts about investing, follow people who have actually done what you want to do, and feed your mind with abundance instead of scarcity. Step 2, get a real financial education. Not what school taught you, but what school never taught you. Start with the basics. How compound interest works, the difference between assets and liabilities, how taxes work, and even legal ways to minimize them. Build basic skills, learn how to increase your income, how to start a business. In my opinion, this is not optional anymore. In the information age, being financially literate is a choice. You need to take the time and put action towards this, or you are going to be stuck spinning your wheels for the rest of your life. The sooner the better. Step 3, please break the consumer cycle. Before you buy anything, ask yourself, is this going to make me money, or is it going to be a net negative? Is this going to cost me in the long run? If it costs you money and does not significantly improve your life, please do not buy it. I would even suggest creating a 24 rule for purchases over $500. Most of the time, you will realize you do not actually need it, and you are just wasting money. Stop trying to look rich. Start actually being rich. Pay off high-interest debt first, especially credit cards. Every dollar you pay in interest is a dollar that cannot work for you. Step 4, start building assets. This is where the magic happens. Instead of just you working for your money, make money work for you. Start investing. Even if it is just $100 a month, $50 a month, the principle is what matters. Get your money in the market working for you. At a minimum, I would say invest in yourself, buy mentorships, buy courses, buy good platforms that you can depend on. Things you resonate with, things you think can teach you something valuable. And the final step here, step 5, think like an owner, not an employee. Stop trading time for money, or at least stop thinking that is your only option. Start building systems that generate income. Start an online business, create digital products, do something. The wealthy understand that freedom comes from ownership, from equity, not just employment. So again, you were not born to be poor, you were programmed to be poor, but programming can be changed, the conditioning can be broken. The system benefits when you stay broke, dependent, and consuming. So please build something for yourself. Take these points, absorb them, and start your journey towards financial freedom. As always, if you made it this far, I genuinely want to see you win. Thank you for your time.